what belongs to me, you stubborn child." The mysterious woman stood in the middle of Aduni's fancy restaurant, her long blonde hair flowing like water in the wind, even though there was no wind inside the building. Her high heels clicked on the marble floor like the sound of bones knocking together. Adoni grabbed the broom from behind the counter and pointed it at the strange woman like it was a sword. "Holy Ghost fire! I never signed any paper with you. Where is my signature? Show me the contract," she shouted, waving the broom in the air like she was conducting an orchestra of angels. The mysterious woman laughed, and her laughter sounded like the cry of a night bird. "Oh, my dear child, some contracts are not written on paper. Some agreements are made when desperate hearts call out to the darkness for help." "What darkness? What contract? I only sold jollof rice and turkey," Aduni protested, still holding the broom like a weapon. "The only thing I signed was the receipt for my foodstuff from the market." But let me tell you how our dear Adoni found herself in this terrible situation. You see, Adoni was not always shouting at mysterious women in expensive restaurants. No, no, no. Her story began many years before, when she was just a young girl who believed she was made for greatness. Adoni had always been the kind of girl who turned heads wherever she went. Her skin was as smooth as fresh milk. Her eyes sparkled like stars in a clear night sky. And when she smiled, people said it could wake the dead. Yes, wake the dead. Little did she know that this saying would become very important in her story later. She was beautiful, confident, and completely convinced that she was destined for bigger things. "I am not like these other girls," she would tell her mother while looking at herself in the mirror every morning. "I am special. I am made for luxury and fine things." Her mother would shake her head and continue sweeping the compound. "My daughter, pride goes before a fall. Just focus on your studies and stop dreaming of impossible things." But Adoni never listened. She was like a leaf in the wind when it came to following trends and trying to impress people. If her classmates said red was the new black, Adoni would throw away all her black clothes and buy red ones, even if it meant eating bread and water for a week. If someone said a particular hairstyle was fashionable, Adoni would spend her school fees money at the salon. "This girl will kill me with worry," her mother would complain to the neighbors. "She wants to wear what she cannot afford and go places she has no business going." After university, while other students were looking for jobs or planning to start small businesses, Adoni was listening to her classmates talk about the magical city called Lagos. "My sister, Lagos is the new London," her friend Blessing announced during their farewell party. "People are making millions overnight. My cousin went there with just 5,000 naira in his pocket, and now he drives a Mercedes-Benz and lives in Lekki." "Really?" Adoni's eyes grew wide like saucers. "How did he do it?" "Business, my dear. Import and export, buying and selling, connections and networking. In Lagos, if you are smart and fine like you, money will find you," another classmate added, snapping her fingers for emphasis. That night, Adoni could not sleep. She tossed and turned on her bed, imagining herself in a big house in Lagos, driving expensive cars and wearing designer clothes. By morning, her mind was made up. "Mama, I'm going to Lagos," she announced at breakfast, standing up dramatically like an actress in a Nollywood movie. Her mother nearly choked on her pap. "Lagos? What will you do in Lagos? You don't know anybody there." "I will do business, Mama. I will become successful and rich, and then I will build you a big house and buy you a car with a driver." Her father, who had been quietly reading his newspaper, looked up with concern. "My daughter, Lagos is not a place for a young girl to go alone. It is full of dangers and bad people who will take advantage of you." "Daddy," I am not a small girl anymore. I am a university graduate. I can take care of myself, Adoni replied, puffing out her chest with confidence. Her family tried everything to change her mind. They brought pastors to pray for her. They brought relatives to talk sense into her. They even threatened to stop sending her pocket money. But Adoni was like a stubborn goat that had seen green grass on the other side of the fence. I am going to Lagos, and that is final, she declared, and started packing her bags. 2 weeks later, she was on her bus to Lagos with her boxes, her dreams, and her unshakable belief that the city would welcome her with open arms and shower her with money. Oh, what a shock was waiting for our dear Adoni in Lagos. When she arrived at the motor park, she was expecting someone to recognize her specialness immediately and offer her a job with a big salary. Instead, she found herself squeezed into a single room with 5 other girls, all of them chasing the same dream of Lagos success. The room was so small that when one person wanted to turn around, everyone else had to move. The toilet was shared by 20 people, and the smell could knock out a horse. At night, the girls would lie on their mats like sardines in a can, listening to each other's dreams and complaints. I have been here for 2 years, said Fumi, a girl from Kwara State. I have tried selling clothes, selling food, working in a salon, even tried to be a social media influencer. Nothing is working. Maybe we should just go back home, suggested another girl, Kemi, who had been crying since morning because she had not eaten in 2 days. Never, Adoni declared, even though her own stomach was making sounds like an angry lion. I did not come to Lagos to go back home as a failure. I will make it here, no matter what it takes. And truly, Adoni tried everything. She sold perfumes that nobody wanted to buy because everyone in Lagos was already smelling nice. She made milky donuts when they became popular on TikTok, but by the time she learned how to make them properly, the trend had passed and people were interested in something else. She tried food delivery business, riding on the back of motorcycles with hot soup that would always spill on her clothes. She sold wigs to women who preferred their natural hair. She even sold second-hand clothes that people called thrift. But the customers would spend 30 minutes checking one shirt for holes and stains, then complain that the price was too high. This is not the Lagos they told me about. Adoni would cry into her pillow at night. Where are all the opportunities? Where is all the easy money? To survive, she started borrowing money from mobile loan applications on her phone. First, it was just small amounts to buy food, then bigger amounts to pay for her share of the rent, then even bigger amounts to start new businesses that would fail. Within weeks, her phone would ring every day with calls from the loan companies. Madam, when are you paying back our money? They would ask. Very soon, I just started a new business, Adoni would lie, while eating bread and sardine for the 10th day in a row. After 3 years of struggling, fighting, and failing in Lagos, Adoni woke up one morning and looked at herself in the cracked mirror hanging on the wall. Her smooth skin had become rough from stress. Her bright eyes had lost their sparkle, and her famous smile was nowhere to be found. This is not the life I came here to live, she whispered to herself. Maybe it is time to go home. That day, she packed her bags again, but this time, she was not packing dreams and hopes. She was packing disappointment and shame. The bus ride back to Edo State was the longest journey of Adoni's life. She kept imagining what people would say when they saw her. Would they laugh at her? Would they say, "We told you so"? Would they look down on her as a failure? When she finally arrived in Benin City, everything looked different. Or maybe she was the one who had changed. The people she thought she had left behind were doing well. Her former classmates who had stayed home had good jobs. Some were married with children, and others had started successful small businesses. Her best friend Sarah had married an engineer and moved to Canada. When Aduni called her on the phone, Sarah's voice sounded happy and content. "Adoni, how is Lagos treating you? Are you now a millionaire?" Sarah asked cheerfully. Adoni wanted to lie, but she was too tired for pretense. "Sarah, Lagos was not what I expected. I am back home now, trying to start over." "Oh no, I am sorry to hear that. But you know what? Coming home is not a failure. It takes courage to know when to start again," Sarah said kindly. After the call, Aduni sat in her mother's parlor and cried. Her mother came and sat beside her, rubbing her back gently. "My daughter, life is not a competition. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. The most important thing is that you are alive and healthy. Everything else can be rebuilt," her mother said softly. "But Mama, I wasted 3 years of my life. I achieved nothing. I am back to square one," Adoni sobbed. "No, my dear. You learned lessons that books cannot teach you. You learned that there is no magic formula for success, and that is very valuable knowledge." For a few weeks, Adoni stayed at home, trying to figure out what to do next. Then, because old habits die hard, she started watching business videos on TikTok again. "Since you are back to watching those nonsense videos, why not try something different this time?" her mother suggested, shaking her head. First, Aduni tried affiliate marketing, promoting other people's products online. She would post every day about magic creams and miracle teas, but nobody was buying through her links. Then she joined a network marketing company that sold beard growth products and promised that if she brought 10 people who would each bring 10 more people, she would become rich in 6 months. "This is it, Mama. This is my breakthrough," Aduni announced, holding up bottles of beard oil and cream. But after trekking around Benin City for weeks, trying to convince men to buy beard products they did not need, and trying to convince her friends to join a business they did not understand, Adoni gave up again. "These TikTok business ideas are just jokes," she complained to her mother one evening. "Nothing works the way they say it will. Maybe you should stop following other people's ideas and think for yourself," her mother suggested. But our stubborn Adoni was not ready to listen to wisdom yet. One evening, while scrolling through TikTok, she saw a video titled "5 Businesses to Start in 2025 to Become a Millionaire in a Few Months." "This is different," she told herself, clicking on the video immediately. The young man in the video was standing in front of a big car, wearing expensive clothes and talking fast. "Number 4, he said, "open a food business near a mortuary. Think about it. People come to claim their dead bodies. They come with their families. They get hungry, but there is nowhere to buy food. You will be the only food seller, so you will have no competition." Aduni paused the video and thought about it. There was a big mortuary on Ring Road that was always busy, especially on weekends. People did come with large groups of family members, and they sometimes spent hours there completing paperwork and preparing bodies for burial. "This actually makes sense," she said to herself, rewinding the video to listen again. That night, she could not sleep. She kept thinking about the mortuary food business idea. By morning, she had convinced herself that this was her golden opportunity. "Mama, I have found the perfect business idea," she announced at breakfast, practically bouncing in her chair. "What is it this time?" her mother asked tiredly. "I will open a food stand near the central mortuary on Ring Road. People go there to collect dead bodies. They come with their families. They get hungry, but there is no food seller there. I will be the first." Her mother dropped her spoon and stared at Aduni like she had grown 2 heads. "My daughter, Have you gone completely mad? Who wants to buy food near dead bodies? Mama, business is business. If people are hungry, they will buy food anywhere. And that mortuary is always busy. Aduni, this is a very bad idea. Dead bodies, spirits, all sorts of strange things happen around mortuaries. Please think of something else. But Adoni had already made up her mind. Mama, you said I should stop following other people and think for myself. This is me thinking for myself. Her mother tried to convince her for hours, but Adoni was like a donkey that had decided to go in one direction. The next day, she went to the market, bought foodstuff, pots, and everything she needed to start her mortuary food business. On her first day, Adoni woke up at 4 a.m. and started cooking. She made jollof rice, fried rice, beans and plantain, meat pie, puff puff, and filled coolers with cold drinks. By 7 a.m., she had loaded everything into her wheelbarrow and pushed it to the mortuary. She found a good spot near the entrance where she could see everyone going in and coming out. She set up her table, arranged her food attractively, and put up a sign that said, "Fresh hot food, affordable prices." Then she waited and waited and waited some more. People walked past her stand, looked at her strangely, and continued into the mortuary without buying anything. Some people even whispered to each other and pointed at her. Who opens a food business near dead people? She heard one woman say to her friend. Maybe she does not know this is a mortuary, another person suggested. By evening, Aduni had not sold a single plate of food. She packed everything back into the wheelbarrow and pushed it home, her heart heavy with disappointment. How was your first day? Her mother asked, already knowing the answer. From Aduni's sad face. Nobody bought anything, Mama. They all looked at me like I was crazy. My daughter, I tried to warn you. People are afraid to eat near the dead. It is not natural. But Adoni was not ready to give up. Maybe they just need time to get used to seeing me there. Tomorrow will be different. Day after day, week after week, month after month, Adoni would wake up early, cook food, push her wheelbarrow to the mortuary, and watch people walk past her stand without buying anything. She was losing money every day, spending on ingredients for food that nobody wanted to eat. Her mother kept begging her to stop. My daughter, this business is not working. Please find something else to do. But Adoni had become obsessed. I know it will work, Mama. I just need to wait for the right customers. After 6 months of no sales, Adoni was ready to give up. She had spent all her small savings, and even her neighbors were beginning to talk about the strange girl who sold food to ghosts. On what she decided would be her last day, Adoni went to the mortuary feeling defeated. She had barely any food left to sell, just some rice and a few bottles of water. As she sat by her table, watching people ignore her as usual, she felt tears coming to her eyes. This is it, she whispered to herself. Tomorrow, I will pack up this business and never come back. That night, she went to bed early, too tired and too sad to eat dinner. As she slept, she had the strangest dream of her life. In the dream, a beautiful woman approached her food stand. The woman had long flowing blonde hair that moved like it was underwater, and she was wearing high heels that made clicking sounds on the ground. She was dressed in expensive clothes and had a smile that was both beautiful and somehow frightening. Good evening, my dear, the woman said in a voice that sounded like music and wind chimes. I would like to buy some food. Adoni was so excited to finally have a customer that she jumped up immediately. Welcome, auntie. You are my very first customer. What would you like to eat? The mysterious woman ordered rice and chicken and paid with crisp new money. As she was eating, she looked at Aduni with curiosity. "You mean nobody comes here to buy your food?" she asked. "Nobody, auntie. Today was supposed to be my last day. I wanted to close the business because it is very frustrating," Aduni replied sadly. The woman smiled, and her teeth were perfectly white and straight. "But you are such a beautiful lady, full of life and vitality. You are just perfect for this business." "Really, auntie?" "Oh yes, my dear. Do you want to start making sales here?" "Yes, ma. If I could just get customers, I would be so happy." The mysterious woman finished her food and stood up gracefully. "Do not worry, my dear child. I will tell my people to start coming here to buy your food. You will see them very soon." "Thank you, auntie. Thank you so much," Aduni called out as the woman walked away into the darkness. Aduni woke up sweating and confused. What kind of strange dream was that? She wondered, touching her forehead. Just then her phone rang. It was 5 a.m. in the morning, and unknown numbers did not usually call at that time. "Hello," she answered sleepily. "Good morning, madam. Are you the one who sells food at the mortuary?" A man's voice asked. Adoni sat up immediately, suddenly wide awake. "Yes, sir. Who is this?" "My name is Mr. Johnson. I heard about your business from someone. I want to place an order for jollof rice and turkey for 100 people. Can you prepare it for today?" Adoni almost dropped the phone. 100 people? Sir, are you serious? "Very serious, madam. We are having a ceremony today and we need good food. Can you do it?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can do it," Adoni shouted, jumping out of bed. She ran to wake up her mother. "Mama, Mama, wake up. I got an order for 100 people." "What? Are you dreaming again?" her mother asked, rubbing her eyes. "No, Mama. Someone just called me on the phone. 100 plates of jollof rice." That day, Aduni ran around like a chicken without a head, buying ingredients, borrowing extra pots from neighbors, and cooking the biggest order of her life. By evening, she had delivered the food and received more money than she had ever seen at one time. "I cannot believe this is real," she told her mother, counting the money over and over again. But that was just the beginning. The next day, her phone rang again, then again, and again. Orders started coming in every day. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people. Sometimes the orders were so big that Aduni had to hire other women from the neighborhood to help her cook. Within 3 months, she had rented a proper shop right next to the mortuary and hired 5 full-time workers. Her small food stand became a big restaurant with tables, chairs, and even air conditioning. People would come from all over Benin City to eat at Adoni's mortuary restaurant. "My daughter, I cannot understand this business," her mother said one day, watching trucks deliver foodstuff to the restaurant. "But I'm happy that you are finally succeeding." Aduni bought a car, moved into her own apartment, got the latest iPhone, and started wearing designer clothes. Her social media was full of pictures of her success story. She became an inspiration to young people who wanted to start their own businesses. "See how God blessed me when I refused to give up," she would post on Instagram, posing next to her car with bags of money. But success can be a dangerous thing when you do not understand where it comes from. Exactly 1 year after her first big order, Aduni had another strange dream. The same beautiful woman with blonde hair and high heels came to her restaurant, but this time she was not smiling as warmly as before. "I can see business is booming, my dear child," the woman said, looking around at the busy restaurant. "My people have been coming to eat here regularly." "Yes, auntie. Thank you so much for recommending my restaurant. Business has been very good," Aduni replied happily. The mysterious woman's smile became serious, and her eyes seemed to change color in the dream light. Well, my dear, it is time to pay your dues. Dues? What dues, auntie? Adoni asked, confused. For the business success, of course. Nothing in this world is free, especially the kind of success you have been enjoying. Adoni felt a cold chill run down her spine in the dream. I do not understand, auntie. I pay all my taxes to the government. What other dues are you talking about? The mysterious woman leaned closer, and suddenly, she did not look as beautiful as before. Her blonde hair seemed to be moving by itself, and her smile showed too many teeth. You must give me your womb, my dear child. The organ that has the power to create life. That is what I need in exchange for the wealth I have given you. What? Adoni screamed, jumping backward in the dream. My womb! Are you mad? When did I make any agreement with you? Where did I sign? Show me the contract. Oh, my sweet child. Some contracts are signed with desperation, not with ink. When you cried out for customers at the mortuary, when you begged for success, I heard you and I delivered what you asked for. Holy Ghost fire, fire of God. Adoni started shouting in the dream, grabbing a broom and chasing the woman. I never made any deal with you. Get out of my restaurant, get out. She woke up in a panic, her body covered in sweat, her heart beating like a drum during a festival. What kind of terrible dream was that? She gasped, looking around her bedroom to make sure she was really awake. But the dreams did not stop there. Every night, the mysterious woman would appear, sometimes in the restaurant, sometimes in Adoni's house, always asking for the same thing. Give me your womb, child, before it is too late, the woman would say in different voices, sometimes sweet, sometimes threatening, sometimes pleading. I will never give you anything, Adoni would shout back. I worked hard for my success. I did not make any deal with any spirit. During the day, Adoni tried to forget about the dreams and focus on her business. She was planning to marry her boyfriend Emmanuel, and they had been talking about having children together. These dreams are just my mind playing tricks on me, she would tell herself. There is nothing supernatural about my success. I just found a good business idea. But the dreams continued, night after night, and the mysterious woman was becoming more impatient. You are testing my patience, stubborn child, the woman warned in one dream. If you do not give me what belongs to me willingly, I will take it by force. Take what belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. Leave me alone, Adoni shouted, but she woke up feeling more afraid than angry. Then one morning, everything changed. Adoni woke up with terrible pain in her stomach, like someone was squeezing her inside with metal hands. She ran to the bathroom and discovered she was bleeding heavily, much more than during her normal monthly cycle. It must be stress from the dreams, she told herself, taking pain medicine and going to work. But the bleeding did not stop. By evening, she had changed her sanitary pad 10 times and the pain was getting worse. By the third day, she was using 12 pads every day and the bleeding smelled like something rotten. Emmanuel, I think something is wrong with me, she told her boyfriend when he came to visit. You should go to the hospital and check what is happening, he advised, looking worried. At the hospital, the doctor examined her and ran several tests. There is nothing wrong that we can see, he told her. Your results are normal. This might just be hormonal changes. But Adoni knew this was not normal. The bleeding continued for weeks, and soon she started seeing small white things that looked like rice grains in the blood. Mama, I think these are maggot eggs, she whispered to her mother, too scared to say it loudly. Her mother's eyes grew wide with horror. Maggot eggs? From where? Within days, the white things became tiny moving maggots, crawling in her menstrual blood. The smell became so bad that even her workers at the restaurant started complaining. "Madam, something smells terrible in here," one of her employees said, covering her nose. The pain was so severe that Aduni would roll on the floor crying, especially during her monthly cycle. She could not eat, could not sleep, and started losing weight rapidly. Emmanuel, who had been talking about marriage, suddenly became distant. "Aduni, I think you should focus on solving your health problem first," he said, avoiding her calls. Within a month, he had completely stopped visiting or calling. "That boy is not your husband," her mother said angrily. "A real man will stand by you during difficult times." But Aduni was too sick to care about Emmanuel. She was becoming thin like a skeleton, and her beautiful smooth skin became rough and dark. Her famous smile disappeared completely, and her bright eyes became dull and sunken. The mysterious woman continued to appear in her dreams, but now she was not asking politely anymore. "Look at what you have done to yourself," the woman would say, standing over Adoni's sick body in the dreams. "All you need to do is give me your womb, and all this suffering will stop." "Never," Adoni would reply weakly. "I would rather die than make a deal with you." "Oh, my stubborn child, death might be exactly where you are heading." Her mother tried everything to help her. They went to different hospitals, but all the doctors said there was nothing medically wrong with her. They tried traditional medicine, but the herbs made her condition worse. One night, when Adoni was so weak, she could barely lift her head from the pillow, her mother invited their family pastor and several prayer warriors to come and pray for her. "This is not a medical problem," the pastor declared after praying over Aduni. "This is a spiritual attack. Someone has entered into a covenant with the kingdom of darkness." "Pastor, I never signed anything with anybody," Adoni whispered weakly. "My daughter, not all covenants are signed with paper. Some are made when we accept help from the wrong sources. Tell me, when did your business start becoming successful?" Aduni told the pastor about her dreams, about the mysterious woman, and about how her customers started coming after that first strange dream. "Those customers you thought were people, they were spirits, wandering souls without peace. And now the kingdom of darkness wants payment for the business success they gave you." The prayer session lasted for hours. The pastor and prayer warriors prayed so intensely that Adoni started convulsing and shaking. At one point, she spoke in a voice that did not sound like her own. "She belongs to us. She accepted our help. We gave her success," the strange voice said through Adoni's mouth. "In the name of Jesus, we break every evil covenant," the pastor commanded. "We cancel every agreement made in desperation." After hours of intense prayer, Adoni suddenly became calm. The terrible pain in her stomach disappeared, and the awful bleeding stopped completely. "I feel free," she whispered, tears of relief flowing down her face. "The pain is gone," the pastor warned her seriously. "My daughter, you must never go back to that restaurant again. Close that business immediately and stay away from that mortuary." That same night, as if to confirm the pastor's words, Adoni's big restaurant caught fire. Everything was burned to the ground. The tables, chairs, cooking equipment, everything. The fire department said it was an electrical problem, but Adoni knew better. Within the same week, she discovered that all her bank accounts had been hacked. The millions of naira she had saved from the restaurant business had disappeared completely. When she went to the bank to complain, they showed her that someone had been withdrawing money using her ATM card and online banking. "The person who did this had access to all your banking information," the bank manager explained. "Do you suspect anyone?" That was when Adoni realized that Emmanuel, Her boyfriend, who had abandoned her during her illness, was responsible. He had disappeared completely, and when she tried to trace him, she found out that he had traveled to Europe with her money. "That useless boy stole all my money and ran away," she told her mother. But surprisingly, she was not as upset as she expected to be. Her car engine knocked down completely, and when the mechanic called to tell her it would cost more money to repair than the car was worth, Aduni told him to keep it. "I do not want the car anymore," she said simply. Within 1 month, everything she had bought with the restaurant money was gone. The apartment, the designer clothes, the iPhone, everything. It was like the success had never happened. But instead of feeling sad, Adoni felt free. "Mama, I know this sounds strange, but I'm not sad about losing everything," she told her mother one evening. "I feel like a heavy load has been lifted off my shoulders. My daughter, some blessings are actually curses in disguise. It is better to be poor and have peace than to be rich and lose your soul." After she recovered completely from her illness, Adoni's mother helped her enroll in a computer training school to learn data analysis. For the first time in years, Adoni studied seriously without thinking about getting rich quickly. "I just want to learn a skill that can help me earn honest money," she told her mother. After 1 year of disciplined study and simple living, Aduni got her first online job as a data analyst. The salary was not huge, but it was honest money that she earned with her brain and hard work. She rented a small clean room, bought simple clothes, and started living within her means. She stopped watching get-rich-quick videos on TikTok and focused on improving her skills and being grateful for small progress. "I am not the same person who went to Lagos chasing impossible dreams," she reflected one day, looking at herself in the mirror. "I am not the same person who opened a restaurant near a mortuary because a TikTok video told me to. I am learning to be content with honest work and genuine relationships." Her mother was proud of the change in her daughter. "Now you look like someone with inner peace," she would say. Money cannot buy that kind of happiness. And truly, Adoni was reborn. She had learned that there are no shortcuts to genuine success, that some opportunities that seem too good to be true usually are, and that contentment is worth more than all the gold in the world. She was whole, she was wise, and most importantly, she was free.